Welcome back to the Live for Life podcast. I'm here with G-Dog. G-Dog, how are we this evening?
I'm great because you just asked how my hair is. And I just said it was phenomenal as ever. How's your hair?
Fantastic.
Good.
I'm well as well, thank you.
Oh, good, yeah. I was only cared about your hair. But
you don't care about anything else.
Always.
Now, we established recently that all lifters have a problem, don't they? Do you remember what problem that was?
Oh, yes. We discussed this over dinner.
Pre-bed flex.
Yes.
Now, any lifter listening to this, I'm sure you'll be able to relate, but if you have another half as well, you might have had a moment where they've gone, what on earth are you doing in there? And it is fact as a lifter that you kind of get this issue where you stand in the mirror underneath the spotlight and you never look better than before bed, do you? That is the best time.
Exactly. And
you flex for what can be up to 10 minutes, can't it, long? Every angle, every lighting. And yeah, it can often leave the other half a bit bemused. So
yeah, and I've got particularly good lighting. Well, obviously I designed my bathroom around the lighting. So I have particularly good lighting in my bathroom. And so, yeah, it's nice to stay in there for a while and look at myself.
Yeah, I think recently Izzy was like, can you just come to bed? And I was like, are you not entertained? Anyway, should we crack on with the podcast?
We should.
So today we are discussing what, G-Dog?
Do
you know what this is?
Do you need rest days? I checked the headline and to make sure I was getting it right. Do you need rest days? The importance of them and my overtraining errors.
Yeah.
This is what Angus has given me.
I always said like G-Dog instructions before the episode because as we know, he can go off on a tangent, right? And so I'm always like, okay, here's the title and then obviously here's the topics to focus on and basically how the fact that you don't rest enough. So why is it you don't rest enough, even though it is scientifically backed and you're a big science man, that actually some more rest would probably help you develop your muscles more? I won't say any muscles in particular because I know I'm not allowed to say that anymore.
In the last episode, we discussed how I love training and it has a deep psychologically positive impact on me. And so on days when I don't train, I psychologically feel worse. And therefore, by definition, a rest day is a non-training day. So you have now programmed a rest day, and my rest day involves zone 2 cardio. So
well, that's good. Not
so I still feel like I'm resting.
It's not necessarily a rest day then, is it? I haven't programmed a rest day because I'm still allowing you to do zone 2.
Yeah.
So it's not technically a rest day.
But I feel like it's a rest day.
Active recovery.
Active recovery, yeah.
But
you think a rest day is literally not doing any exercise?
Well, it's just going for steps. Just go do more steps.
Just walking.
Yeah. You don't really get that, do you?
No.
Because you're still putting stress to a degree through your legs when you're doing zone 2. Obviously a lot less stress, but yeah.
But anyway, in the research, I've discovered that you are supposed to rest. So, yeah, there was actually, I can't pronounce it because it's Belgian, but there's a big university in Belgium and they did a study together with...
What's the university?
Vrije Universiteit Brussels.
I've heard that before. Yeah. I think you pronounced that perfectly.
Very famous institution. All the Belgian fans will just be clapping. And the paper was done in cooperation with the European College of Sports Science and the American College of Sports Medicine. So everyone together. It's a transatlantic collaboration study. And it's called Prevention, Diagnosis and Treatment of the Overtraining Syndrome, brackets G-Dog. And it basically describes the definition of different types of overtraining. You can have functional overreach, non-functional overreach, overtraining syndrome, and then it concludes. And it says functional overreach is when you have short-term performance drops and you have full recovery and everything's fine. Non-functional overreaching, which is obviously not good, is when you have long-term performance decline because you're training too much. And then overtraining syndrome, which is the worst thing possible, which is long-lasting performance deterioration, mood changes, and other systemic conditions that result from overtraining. So there's all these different types. And they concluded that successful training must combine overload with adequate recovery. And persistent performance drops and mood changes are warning signs that rest and load reduction are needed. So I suppose I haven't shown persistent performance drops and mood changes. Actually, maybe I have.
Your mood swings are quite intense. Like, so I never know.
That's because you just permanently want me to be hyper.
Yeah, well, I'm permanently in a good mood on this podcast. And then sometimes I get the way, and sometimes I just get that, you know, I don't know what to expect. So that's something to work on. I also think your days are longer than mine. And I don't just mean from a work perspective. I do just mean the fact that you sleep a lot shorter. So actually rest days are probably more pivotal to you.
Yeah.
Because you're getting a lot less sleep.
So why do you think rest is so important? What happens on an Angus rest day?
Well, on an Angus rest day, instead of going to the gym, I obviously factor in that will be a neat time. And I just make sure that I'm hitting more. So I would say on an average step day for me is 11, 12,000. On a full-on rest day, it'll be 15 to 20,000 steps. So I just increase my NEAT. So I'm still, I move at speed as well. So I'm still very much getting a kind of endorphin, dopamine hit. So it still makes me feel like I'm doing something. And I think you've got to try and see that as, from a mindset perspective, okay, my muscles are growing whilst I'm doing this. Whereas I think at times you are constantly just like, my muscles aren't growing if I'm doing this. Does that make sense? I think you agree with me. So even when I program you zone 2 on a Sunday, you decide to do some cable flies, when actually you would benefit yourself because you're getting more than enough volume of frequency through your chest. You're actually effectively preventing yourself from growing your pecs more because you're probably overtraining them.
Wow.
So
that's a good way of making me rest.
Yeah. So maybe I just need to encourage you in that way rather than thinking that you can just keep training pecs every day. Are you doing secret pec training every day?
Well, I'm pec popping every evening, right?
Well, that's fine.
But I'm wondering if that is a type of progressive overload as well.
Well, you're attempting to pec pop. There's a difference.
Yeah, true. I suppose so. But the conclusion from this research that I just referenced is you don't get fitter from training harder and harder forever. You get fitter by cycling stress and recovery. It's quite a good phrase. So I think I'm not cycling them enough.
Can you speak with a bit more enthusiasm?
Yeah. Well, I'm just as I'm reading it, I'm getting slightly aware.
I know, but you've gone
and
a bit
it's making me realize.
But I've told you all this before.
I know.
But I guess the question is, do you need rest days?
Well, that's the question you've got to answer.
No, I know, but actually, do we actually technically need them? It completely depends on the program and the goal, doesn't it? Because for some people, if they are, let's say, training 15 minutes a day, then they could probably get away with actually not needing a rest day. And if they're progressively overloading and they're recovering well, then it's likely that they actually may not necessarily need a rest day. So I think a lot of it depends on the individual. If you feel like you're performing well and your muscles are growing, then maybe you don't need as many rest days as other people. But also from my perspective, I think it's about changing up the training. So if you're doing 6 hypertrophy days, like I don't get how people can enjoy personally push-pull legs. So doing push-pull legs Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then doing push-pull legs Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then having a rest. I just do not believe you can push yourself to your max. And I think you've got to work out on a personal level. Okay, from an enjoyment perspective, do I enjoy this style of training 3 times a week, 4 times a week, or 5 times a week? Because interesting enough, I was talking to my brother when I was last away with him, and he only weight trains twice a week, but he loves those sessions. And then on top of that, he's big into his running as well. So he does weight training specific to his running. So he's gone for that factor, which is interesting, isn't it? So I think you've got to work out, maybe your problem is you enjoy it too much. So you've got to work out a way of how you complement your weight training with other forms of exercise, which, to be fair, you do in your programming.
I think in some ways it's because of my job. I find the weight training a really big stress release in a way that I don't think I'd find running. I know I don't find running. And also, to get the runner's high, you've got to run for so far in order to get it. Whereas I get a runner's high with weight training after 10 minutes.
Also, the running would have a detrimental effect on your weight training.
Yeah, that as well. And it's more difficult, right? I mean, obviously in the summer it's quite nice. You go out and my office is near the river. I can run along the river. That's great. But I think I just get the runner's high much quicker when I'm weight training than when I'm running. So it's a more convenient type of stress release for me, actually lifting weights. And I was looking at the International Olympic Committee's recommendations as well on rest. And they also said you should rest. They said the biggest problem is actually the boom-bust pattern, though.
Really?
They said one of the biggest problems is people do chronic overload and then chronic underload, one or the other. And these sudden spikes of training cause injury risk. So
interesting.
So they said a more consistent training program is the best thing, as opposed to, I suppose, doing CrossFit and then doing total rest. So just be consistent. So if you're going to the gym and doing CrossFit maybe Tuesday and Thursday nights and the rest of the week doing hardly anything, that's a big risk, because on those CrossFit sections, you're going to probably ego lift and push to failure. And then your body is not prepared for it because it's not training consistently. And that's where you're going to get injured. So I think I definitely hear a lot of people getting injured doing CrossFit.
Do you never have those days where you go, gosh, I'm sore, I could probably do the rest?
No, and you're going to say that's a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
Because you're saying I'm not pushing hard enough because I should be feeling really sore.
Well, there is an element where you should have some soreness, yes. So even with the training intensity increase, you just don't feel sore the next day at all?
No.
I think that's impossible. Maybe you are just built different. But I often find, from a personal perspective and from clients' perspective as well, is with when it comes to rest days, is obviously you can just tell. Like if you were to train at the intensity I want them to train at, that soreness would just be inevitable to some degree.
So I was thinking today, I was looking at my training today and I was comparing it to the training last week on my barbell back squat day. And so today I did 10 reps, so 3 sets of 10 reps at 100 kilos on the barbell back squat. Mm-hmm. And I literally was pushing to failure.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And what I mean,
but I mean, I felt a little bit sore about an hour later, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to feel sore tomorrow morning. And that you're saying, so
it's not about agony, though.
Make you feel more sore?
It's not about being in agony. It's just the next day you just wouldn't want to train that muscle group necessarily.
Oh, that's true, of course.
Yeah, so you have a tightness feeling about you, and it's a bit, in a good way, you will.
Not as tight as I used to feel when I didn't train and then I did that. So I used to have much more of a boom-bust cycle.
So maybe you're constantly sore, but you just don't realize now because you're training too much. Could be that.
Maybe. Gosh.
It's a constant discovery, isn't it? Yeah. Every episode we're just discovering more about G-Dog.
But then I also looked into sleep, right? So Australia and New Zealand, it says a whole array of different institutions got together to do a systematic review on sleep deprivation and resistance training. And they found that one night of total sleep deprivation, it's a bit like me going on my business trip to Hong Kong, that had relatively small effects, it said, on single joint strength
What about
tests.
365 nights?
Yeah, well, it says several nights of repeated sleep deprivation, literally like me in Hong Kong, so 3 to 4 hours sleep a night, can reduce the force output in multiple joint movements, impair training quality, and potentially cause injury.
So maybe it's the fact that your version of to failure actually isn't to failure because you can't push yourself to failure.
Well, because I'm sleep deprived.
Yes.
So your point is, if I had more sleep, I would be able to push myself harder, and therefore I would feel more sore the following day.
Potentially.
I should try that next week when I'm on my Chinese New Year holiday.
Yes. Very good idea. Let's test it out.
Wow. I think we've got a conclusion there.
I think we do. But I think to summarize that nicely, when it comes to rest days, are rest days beneficial? Yes. Short answer. Should G-Dog be resting more? Yes. But this podcast isn't just about G-Dog. It's about helping people. And I feel like we've spoken about G-Dog enough. So are rest days useful? Of course, yes. But I think the big thing is listen to your body. That's quite simple. If you are in absolute agony after a day's training, it's probably a good idea to do something like active recovery, zone 2, things like that, rather than putting your body under absolutely more stress. But the reason we obviously split up muscle groups on certain days and allow adequate rest time. So G-Dog obviously having Mondays and Thursdays as the same muscle groups, and then Tuesdays and Fridays is because that's over the 48 to 72 hour window, so that is optimal to then train the muscle again. So just make sure you're allowing adequate rest time in between the muscle groups. And if you feel like you're pushing yourself till failure 6 days a week, then great. Keep doing push-pull legs or something like that. But if you feel that that's not the case for you and you'd rather do 4 or 5 days, it's all about optimizing your time at the gym and then rest when you feel your body needs it.
Yeah. Today we're recording this on Tuesday. On Monday, I opened Angus's app to do my training program at lunchtime. And I was just so psyched up to do legs. And it wasn't legs.
It's never legs on a Monday.
I know, but I somehow I thought it would be. And I thought, why hasn't he done legs today? And of course, then I realized, because I'd done a lot of incline treadmill walking on Sunday. And so you didn't want me to do legs straight after that. And it's basic science.
Anyway, G-Dog, do you enjoy yourself that episode?
Yeah. I learned something. It's about me. I learned about me.
You seemed a bit down.
Well, I was a bit down because the penny was dropping.
Yeah.
And I think when the penny drops, I sort of get a bit frustrated that it didn't drop earlier.
I also found in these chairs we're a bit more fatigued than usual, aren't we?
Yes. Yeah. And I've totally given up on my cross-leg things. You've got even more annoying by not just doing a cross your ankle over your knee, but a full cross leg.
Can you not do that?
I definitely can't do that.
Let's test it.
I'm going to break the microphone probably. It's just bad. Really.
And on that note,
so many reasons
I think we'll end the episode there.
Yes.
Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in once again to Lift for Life podcast. I hope that gives you clarity on whether you need rest days or not, and more of an insight into G-Dog once again. I think the next episode, we're going to try and not talk about yourself for the whole episode. I think that'll be really good.
Yeah.
But I know that will be hard for you. As always, please rate, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.